ISKCON is no more. He passed away last night. And this gathering is to honor and celebrate the glorious accomplishments and life of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. For those of you who may not know, Maharaj actually has a lot of connection in Canada. He studied in McGill University in Montreal, and he was very much connected with our temple in Toronto and across Canada as well. He's held various responsibilities of spreading and building new temples across India and around the world. Even the Prime Minister of India made a tweet about His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj on what happened last night. So a lot of devotees are very emotional, as you can see. We heard some beautiful reflections, thoughts, and people sharing their, appreciation and glories of Maharaj. And keeping that in the mood for today's program, we are going to continue on understanding a little bit more about the significance of an occasion of this sort. We've of course heard on glories of Maharaj, but we have a special guest speaker here with us. He's going to be speaking on this topic of the significance, glories of the departed Vaishnava, and what should be our prayer and what should be our mood in an occasion of this kind. For those of you who may not know, we have Chaitanya Charan Prabhu, who was our guest speaker for today. He was scheduled to speak on a different topic, but in the light of the recent event, he's going to be focusing more on what we can understand and learn from this occasion. So I'll give a brief bio of Chaitanya Charan Prabhu, and then we'll pass it over to him to lead us through a short discourse. Chaitanya Charan Prabhu has been a monk, mentor, and an author for over 30 plus years. He travels across the world extensively. One of his major contributions have been reflections from the Bhagavad Gita. He has a website, a blog called GitaDaily.com, where he's posted several purports, his reflections on various topics from the Bhagavad Gita. He also has a website called The Spiritual Scientist. We can all visit the website to know a little bit more about Chaitanya Charan Prabhu. There's a lot more we can say about the speaker. He's spoken in various places, but just keeping in mood of today's program, we're going to pass it over to Chaitanya Charan Prabhu. Before that, I would like to encourage everyone to welcome our speaker for today by giving a big round of applause.
चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामीति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So many of you have been here for quite some time, participating in this memorial ceremony for His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. So I will speak briefly about how to see such ceremonies, what can we learn from it. So I'll offer, a sip of wisdom. I'll talk about 3 points, SIP. And we're going to discuss what does all this mean. So, S is speciality. In the Bhagavad Gita 11:28-29, there is an interesting two metaphors are used to describe death. Yatha nadinam bahavam vega samudrameva vimukha pravanti tatha tamami naraloka veera vishanti bhakrani vijvalanti. So the metaphor that is used is, one is of a river moving toward the ocean, and the other is of a moth moving towards fire. So death is one of the grim realities of life, and it has such a finality and unappearability. It can make us feel helpless when we think about death. That a person is there with us at one moment and next moment he will be gone. It can lead to a sense of meaninglessness. What is the point of even living? One bug or one bang can end all of life. So what is the point of struggling in living? So this verse gives these two metaphors to emphasize how all deaths are not the same. So the point it makes is that when a moth moves towards the fire, when the moth goes into fire, basically the moth gets destroyed. It enters into fire, it is voluntarily going towards the fire, and entering into the fire, its body gets burned, it gets completely destroyed. On the other hand, when the river goes toward the ocean, its essential nature of water stays as it is. It is not destroyed. Along with that, and perhaps more important from our perspective, when a moth goes toward the fire, it doesn't benefit anyone. It kills itself, it does not benefit anyone. But when a river goes toward the ocean, the river benefits all those who are passed by the river. On the path of the river, it irrigates the flora and fauna, and millions of life forms are nourished. So the Gita uses this metaphor to illustrate that those who live materialistically, their life is driven by material pleasures, and those are like moths in attracted to fire. But those who live spiritually, spiritualists, they are like rivers going toward the ocean. So there is a significant difference, although the event of death is the same, in the sense that we're going to die. But what if we consider this is the event of death? And this is where everyone, not just all of humanity, but all living beings are going to go toward that. We are all racing very fast in our lives. We are all running, but it's like there's a sprint. Now the sprint, different people run fast, some person can first, some person comes second. But life is like a sprint where everyone will reach a finishing line and they will finish it. It's like instead of getting a trophy, what we get is a shot in the head. So that's the finish line. So that might seem horrendous to think of life in that perspective. But actually, what comes before and what comes after, that can be very different. So what comes before, how a person lives, what a person does, that can be different. And what comes after. So if a person is living materialistically, they stay entangled in the material world. One who actually lives spiritually, that person becomes free, that person becomes liberated. And I'll come to this theme a little later. But basically, when death is unavoidable, how we live and where we go, that can be very different. And the purpose of spirituality, it is not to change the nature of material reality. It is one of us. But it is to change how we experience material reality. So the speciality of the death of great souls is that they have lived differently and the destination they are taking will be different. So now, what is the acronym I was going to discuss? Yes, thank you. So I is importance. Universally, death, when death comes, either it can lead us to a sense of meaninglessness. What is the point of it all? Or this is very unhealthy if this happens. You don't want to go in this direction. But it raises the question, what really matters? Death often forces us to rethink our priorities. What really counts in my life? There are many self-help books or personal growth books which say that to contemplate the time, say when you die. And then, what do you want people to remember you by? What is it that will be the most important thing at that time? Do you want to be remembered as a person? Oh, this person watched TV every day for 6 hours. They want to be remembered somebody else. Oh, okay, this person spent so much time on social media, this person did this person did that. And so at the time people think about our legacy. What will be remembered by? So this is a good exercise. The Gita describes that there are different modes in which you can function. The modes are basically like gears. You can drive a car in different gears. In the mode of the gears, our body mind machine can function in different gears. So there is the mode of ignorance. There is the mode of passion, tamas, rajas, and sattva, the mode of goodness. So these three modes, they can be summarized as some people make things happen. Because sattva, they think, analyze, they plan, they make things happen. Some people watch things happen. They try to do things, they try to do one thing and 10 things go wrong. Some people make things happen, some people watch things happen, some people wonder what happened. So like that, the response to death is also shaped by modes. So in tamas, the response to death is just denial. That we just act as if it hasn't happened or it won't happen to me. Now, if it is denial, alternatively, it can be as an earlier just meaninglessness. This is where people temporarily have smashan vairagya. Oh, we go to crematorium and become detached. But that doesn't last for very long. So mostly we live in denial. Then there is another thing that will happen is that there can be feverish enjoyment. People may say, oh, you live only once, so enjoy right now. So the same thing spiritualists and materialists can see differently. Spiritualists may say, youth is temporary, this is not permanent. Look for something that is substantial. But materialists may say, youth is temporary, beauty is temporary, so enjoy before you lose it all. So it is a different way of looking at things. Now in Sattva, what happens is, we focus on our legacy. Legacy is, how will I be remembered? We try to do some good things in our life by which the memories that people have of us will be good. And this is definitely good. But the Gita takes us beyond this. There's a level called Shuddha Sattva. There's a spiritual level. Where how we are remembered after death is not as important as what we remember at death. Because it is when we are thinking about how am I remembered after death, we are still having a very this world centered view, as if this world is all that matters. When Srila Prabhupada met Alfred Ford, who was a great grandson of Henry Ford. Now he was used to people pampering to him, pampering him, praising him, so that maybe they would do some donations or something like that. But when Prabhupada met him the first time, everybody said, oh, he's the great grandson of Henry Ford. Oh, what was the great grandson? First question that Prabhupada said, where is he now? So what he meant was that, okay, he acquired so much wealth, but where is he as a soul? So the Gita says, what we remember at our death, that is what is going to determine our destination. Antakale chamaviva swarabhutva kalena. That if we remember God, what's happening? Okay. Am I audible or it's not clearly audible?
Not clear. It's not. It's clear to us.
Okay. Is this better?
Yes.
Okay. Let's keep it nice. So, I'm a little puzzled why nobody said anything till now. It's something I was once giving a class, nobody could hear. And then nobody was saying anything. So afterwards I asked, we wanted to be humble. This is not humility. With all humility I will say that is stupidity. Not necessary. But the point is,
Hare Krishna, everyone at the balcony, we're hearing too much conversation from there. If you can all please maintain some silence for the next 20-25 minutes, that would be much appreciated. Thank you. And everyone actually.
your
Thanks.
mic is much better.
Yeah, you make it better.
The other way.
It's okay. Is this better? So, I was talking about the sip of wisdom, that what first is the speciality of the death of great souls is that they live like a river going toward the ocean. They serve, they contribute to humanity while they are living. And then after that, it's not that they're destroyed, they go back, the spiritual nature of their life continues on. And I was talking what really matters in life. So, how we are remembered is still a very world-centered view. But what we remember at death, that is what is going to determine where we go up. And that is much more important. Now, why is that so important? Because we are on a multi-life journey. Now, death is not the end of the book of life. Some people think, okay, I just existed and stopped existing. No. Death is just the end of one chapter in the book of life. It's just end of one chapter. It's not a termination. It's a transition. It's a transition to another level of existence. And that's why what we remember is important. Now, why that? That will be the last part. So, basically, death makes us consider what really matters in life, what is important. It's okay. It is audible?
Yeah.
So that brings me to the last part. What is the last part in the acronym? So, how can we is basically process. So how can we live our life in a way that we focus on the things that matter? And this is where the examples of great souls can also be a very important guideline for us. So basically, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna in the same chapter 8.5 he talks about remembering him at the time of death. But then a few verses later, Ma Anusmara Yudhecha. So he says that there are the process of devotion has two aspects to it. There is one which is a connection. It is an internal connection with the Lord. And there is outer contribution. And each one of us, we have been given certain gifts, certain abilities. And with those, we are meant to make a contribution. We come to the world not to just accumulate. Oh, I want a bigger house, I want a bigger car, I want more Instagram followers. No, okay. Those things are there. But all these things are good to go. But what we can do is internally connect with the Lord and externally we can contribute during our life journey. The river, going back to that metaphor, the river is doing that. It is flowing toward the ocean, but it is not just flowing toward the ocean. While it is flowing toward the ocean, it is contributing to the entire landscape. And each one of us is also going to do that. Each one of us is like a river, and we all are to find our way toward the ocean. So the process of bhakti, what tells us is that when we focus on remembering God, what we remember at death, that remembrance is not just turning away from the world and not caring for the world. This happens sometimes when people think that if you become too spiritual, then you stop caring for the world. That is not the version of spirituality that the Bhagavad Gita talks about. The Bhagavad Gita tells us that basically, I'll make 2 points in this and then I'll continue. At the spiritual level, we have the material level. So, we are existing right now in the material world. And one understanding of spiritual growth is that God, Krishna, exists over here. And we want to go from here to the spiritual world. And that is true. However, this is a simplistic understanding. Because Krishna doesn't just exist in the spiritual world. Krishna exists in this world also. Yataha pravrittir bhutana yena sarvavidam tatam svakarmana tamabhyarcha siddhim vindati manava. In 3 verses 1846 to 48, what Krishna says is that we need to see the divine in this world also. So basically, our journey toward the spiritual world is our connection. But in this world, we make a contribution. So the talents, the abilities, the interests that we have, we use them to serve, to contribute. Now, for many people, when God is not a part of the picture, then what happens is their vision gets reduced only to this much. That I am here and the world is here. And their whole focus is on, okay, what can I get from the world? Okay, I'm working hard, I want people to recognize me. I want this, I want that, I want that. And when we have this limited vision of life, this is at best unfulfilling. Because we may work hard, we may have our gifts, we may use them, but the world's response will never satisfy us. Even if somebody becomes famous, okay, then always I want more fame, I want more fame, I want more fame. Somebody gets wealth, somebody gets more pleasure. At best, it's all unfulfilling. But at worst, it can be devastating. Why devastating? Because the world can in one fell blow take everything away from us. So spirituality expands our vision. We don't reject the world, but we see a bigger picture. So we act in the world and we contribute. And when we contribute, we do get reciprocation. The reciprocation that comes from the Lord. At one level, there's a reciprocation internally, and there's a reciprocation in the world also. So, through our connection in the world, we, in connection with the Lord internally, we get connected. We get connected. Just remembering the Lord, coming to a temple, participating in Kirtan, it just gives us connected. It gives us enrichment. So, we feel, okay, how well known I am, how famous I am, how respected I am, my income level, my beauty level, my this level, that level, all those things, talent. We get that enrichment from it. But along with that, in this world, we also get empowered. That God wants us to make, each one of us, to make a positive difference in life in this way. And when we act in the mood of service, we don't just get enrichment in our life, we get empowerment in the world, by which we can use our talents and abilities for a community. We may discover abilities and talents that we didn't have, that we didn't know we had. We may be able to develop those abilities and talents that we already have much more and use them to bigger scale. So this way, there is where, when there is this enrichment and empowerment, that is what makes it for a fulfilling life. And is that which is the call of it. So great souls who come to this world, who exemplify such devotion. Arjuna was a great devotee, internally he was connected to the Lord, but externally he also became a great archer and served extraordinarily. So his name was GOPAL Maharaj, was such a soul in the service of Sri Prabhupada. He was in America working in a big company in a significant position after having a very respected degree from a respected college. Then he decided to make serving Krishna the focus of his life. And what happened by that? He was empowered by Krishna to become a leader of hundreds and thousands of devotees. He was responsible for several hundred temples and their management. He personally built, or at least inspired people in their religious ways, over a dozen temples. So reason that empowerment. So when we hear about and celebrate the lives of great souls like him, it is an inspiration for us to also similarly orient our life. Because the legacy they leave is glorious. Now, not every devotee who serves the Lord may have such a great legacy. But what matters is not so much how we are remembered as what we do. The extent of empowerment that different people will get will be different in life. But everybody can get that energy. That we are all in life. Life is like a relay race. Now, in a relay race, different people say there's a torch. So, if I have to write a torch, that means it's not a good drawer. So, if life is a relay race, we all, different people, carry the torch to different degrees. Now, some people may carry the torch across the finish line. And those who carry the torch across the finish line, they will get glory in the world's eyes. So not everybody, even on the spiritual path, will be empowered necessarily to take the torch across the finish line. Srila Prabhupada had established Krishna consciousness all over the world. One of his followers told him, Prabhupada, your Guru and his Guru, Bhakti Thakur, he shared Krishna Bhakti in Bengal. Bhakti Thakur spread Krishna Bhakti in India. You share this wisdom of divine love all over the world. Therefore, you are greater than all of them. Prabhupada became very grave. He said, never think like this. He said, it's by their mercy that I achieved this. Parents are always happier when their children exceed what they have done. So, that is the issue. Some people get to cross the finish line and they get all lost. But every single person who participates in the relay race, they get glory in God's eyes. Every one of us, if we act in the mood of service, we all have our parts in life. If we try to play those parts in our family, in our profession, in our country, we play our parts with great devotion. And that means we need to take some time out already for developing our connection. In one sense, there is connection when we turn away from the world to focus on the divine, to develop that connection. We chant the holy names, we come to the temple, we read wisdom texts, we strengthen our connection. And then we turn toward the world with a bigger vision of what to do. Then we all will be empowered to different degrees. But every one of us can make a difference in this small or big. And most importantly, we can make a difference in our way lives. And such is the life of devotion that His Holy GOPAL Maharaj not only demonstrated, but He has inspired hundreds and thousands of devotees across the world to do. The same principle I will illustrate in one interaction of mine with him. I was introduced to Krishna Bhakti in Pune in 1996. So he was the local lead, he was the leader of the GBC over there. And I used to ask him questions whenever he would come. And he noted his class. One time he was going out for a japa walk and I met him. And he saw me. He said, you asked very intimate question. He asked me what is my name. And then he would remember my name every time. And then I used to write articles. I used to publish articles in Times of India, other papers. I used to comment on current affairs. So then in 2006, 7, 8, when there was this big recession. So Maharaj came to Pune and he called me. He said, I want to talk to you. I said, yes, Maharaj. He said, no, you write current affairs. He said, you should write a book on how this recession has actually been caused by greed. And you talk about how the Bhagavad Gita spiritual principles can actually address greed and thereby offer spiritual perspective solutions to problem like recession. So I had been thinking of something like this. I saw that instruction of Maharaj in the vindication. Then I started talking specifics. And I started talking a little more specifics. I was amazed at how much awareness he had of contemporary economic and geopolitical affairs, and the depth of his insights. Not just the news of what is happening, but the underlying trends and underlying ideas. And then I was very inspired by that. And then when I wrote the book, I told Maharaj I completed the book. Maharaj said I will write the foreword for it. So he himself gave the foreword. And then when the book was completed, Maharaj said, send me the book. He said, I will give copies to the top Indian leaders. So later on, the service told me that Maharaj would meet some of the leaders. So that book, Adversity, Recession, Adversity or Opportunity. Maharaj gave those books. So I am not only a disciple of Maharaj. Maharaj probably interacted with me for a few occasions. But apart from the inspiration that he gave me specifically, what has struck me is that here is a leader. He sees an opportunity for service and he will think, okay, this person, this place, and I visit once a year or twice a year, this must be doing service. So I'm not saying having ability is great. Developing ability is even greater. But noticing others who have abilities and helping them develop their abilities, that is the greatest service. That is the service that Maharaj did for thousands of devotees, he did for me. And you can see his blessings that we can all find our abilities and learn to use them in a mood of service to Krishna. Thank you very much. So let's go
Krishna everyone once again. Thank you to Chaitanya Prabhu. And we just want to quickly take a moment to thank